Hello and welcome to How Mundane, the least interesting place on the internet. Today, I am putting together an Easter present for my son, based on something I saw somebody else carrying around at the last card show I was at. So, I've got here a Voltex 4x4 binder, brand new, and the stuff to put all this together. And I do have some more cards coming, but I've got to get this put together and recorded and hidden before he catches me. So I'll have to fill in the other couple of cards that are coming as they get here. So there are more cards that will be in this. But what I saw at the last show I was at was there was a lady walking around who was collecting nothing but Ponyta and Rapidash, because that was her favorite Pokemon. So Ponyta and Rapidash lady, if you're out there and you remember talking to me, thanks, because this gave me the idea. And the idea was, hey, you know, if you have a particular favorite Pokemon that has quite a few cards, it may be pretty easy to put together a little binder, you know, something around this size that can accommodate all of those cards. And as it so happens, my son's favorite Pokemon is Mudkip. And there are not a lot of Mudkip cards, as you may be aware. So this little 4x4 binder actually has enough spots to house every Mudkip, every Swampert, and every, what's the middle one? Marshtomp. So Mudkip, Marshtomp, Swampert. All the cards that have ever been made for that entire evolution line will fit in this one little binder. And in order to help track all of those cards as you're collecting them, there are some websites that conveniently have photos of all of the cards in the evolution line. So anyone can keep a little binder like this, and this was the way this lady had her Ponyta and Rapidash binder set up, so that you can very quickly be flipping through and be like, oh, already got that one. Oh, still need that one, as you're walking around at any card show. So I went online, I printed these out. I printed them a couple of different ways. So you can see this is printing. So I pulled an Avery template. If you really want to spend extra to print all these on nicer cardstock, Avery actually has some punch out sheets of trading card size cardstock that fits 6 to a sheet. And I use these actually for labels. And this is one piece of the leftover cardstock that I had when I only printed 5. So they punch out and they just easily tear off, and it's super easy. But this same Word document for that Avery template works perfect to just print out on regular old sheets of paper when you're trying to just mark placeholders like this. And so what I did was I printed them out, first kind of blowing them up to the full size, and then later I was just kind of copying and dumping in on the Swampert ones kind of at a smaller size to show you what that looks like too, because you don't necessarily have to use so much ink to print these all kind of at full card size. It works just fine using smaller pieces too. And also, if for some reason you can't find a photo of a particular card, you can always just write what it is on that sheet of paper. There were a couple of those that I just couldn't find with a quick search. I'm sure I could find with a more in-depth search. But again, you know, the idea is just to kind of keep track easily of all the stuff you're finding. And certainly folks, you know, other Pokemon collectors like, Deep Pocket Monster does this with much bigger sets where he just writes on the sheet what it is that he's looking for. I personally am a visual person, so I find having the photo of the card makes it quicker for me to identify which card it is. For him, when he was like doing, you know, some of his videos where he was like trying to complete a full set, just having the name, you know, you already kind of know what you're looking for. So it also works in that way. Personally, for this, I do love Voltex binders. We are not sponsored or anything. I just think they make a very nice quality binder. I do, for the finished product, actually have a very nice little Mudkip sticker coming for the front cover. And I'm sure I will post the final picture on Instagram on Easter once he actually has it so that I don't spoil it. He is definitely someone who at least knows about my YouTube channel. I don't know how much he watches it, but I don't want to put this up before then and spoil his Easter present for him. But as you can see, real easy then to walk around with, this binder that's kind of filled out and you know what you're looking for. And really you could do this with anything. Obviously full sets, pretty straightforward. Like when Danny Fantup has done his, master sets, he always kind of marks these things out in the same way. But I will admit I had not, other than, Deep Pocket Monster with just his handwritten notes, walking around in some of those videos, I hadn't seen anybody walk around at a card show with a binder kind of this small size, decked out like this for collecting a particular single Pokemon until I met Rapidash Ponyta Lady, which is fortunate because actually I think this is kind of a cool little thing that he can work on, trying to get every Mudkip, every Marshtomp, every Swampert, since that is his absolute favorite. And for the most part, I have put in here only the English cards, not their Japanese counterparts, with the exception of there are a couple of Japanese exclusives. This Mudkip and the Brock's Mudkip and Brock's Marshtomp. Also, I did not put in, there are a couple of these little Pog-looking things, but I did include the Action Flips that has the full evolution line. So then here we move on to Marshtomp. And I know my son is really hoping that we get some more Mudkip cards in the future, because certainly Mudkip does not get nearly as many cards as many of the other popular, I guess Mudkip is popular Pokemon. So he's always hoping in the next set maybe they'll bring back a Mudkip, since we haven't had one since the Sword and Shield era. The last one was in Fusion Strike. And of course, there are also these Topps cards in here because there were a couple of Topps card Mudkips. And hopefully we can track those down too, along with some of these cool like World Championship cards. So if you've got someone in your life who has a particularly favorite Pokemon, this can make a really cool gift, especially if you start filling out some of the slots. Particularly if maybe they don't have a huge collection, or maybe they are into Pokemon but haven't really started collecting cards. This could be a great way to start. Or if you can get a hold of their cards, say maybe it's a spouse or something where you might be able to sneak their cards away and fill out a binder for them. Could be a good way to surprise someone for a holiday. As you can see here, there are less Marshtomps and Swamperts than there are Mudkips, but there are still quite a few. If it is a Pokemon that has a lot more cards, I would recommend stepping up to probably the 9 pocket, or maybe even the 12 pocket if it's a real popular one. Say somebody is a diehard Pikachu person, you're probably going to need the really big binder. But the nice thing about Voltex is they do come in a variety of sizes, and I'm sure you can find one that will fit your needs. And I'm just generally happy with their product because the zip pouches that load from the side minimize the chances for anything to fall out or get lost. Not to mention it's just a very good quality product. The covers hold up real well. They are more than half of the binders that I bring to shows, and they have all held up to thousands upon thousands of people pawing through them, pulling cards out of them, and no issues to report on any of my Voltex binders. Voltex, if you'd like to sponsor something, feel free to reach out because, again, I love the possibility of doing something with products that I actually would buy on my own and 100% support, regardless of anything else. I mean, that's kind of the way I generally feel about products. Is I am one who will spend a couple extra dollars to get something that is a high quality product that I know will hold up, as opposed to trying to save a few bucks on something that's going to inevitably fall apart. That is just the way I approach life in general. And I know I'm not the only person out there who takes that approach, because like there are entire Reddit communities like Buy It for Life that are generally focused on the same thing, buying high quality products that will hold up and last, because there is so much disposable commerce that exists out there, and it's generally not great for anyone to have stuff that just falls apart and ends up in a landfill, contributing to more global pollution. So we've almost got all of the placeholders in here, and then we will place the 4 cards that I've gotten in so far. I have a few more on the way. They are just coming from different sources, and so we're getting here at different times. I will say I bought the overwhelming majority of these on CollX, because CollX is another platform that I 100% believe in. Love the community, love being an ambassador. Hope that if you have not checked it out, you will hear about it in this video and maybe go give it a try, because it is a great place not only to track your collection, but buy and sell cards with other collectors, which, can always be tough to do when you're talking about doing stuff on the internet. You can see on these, the Swampert ones, they're printed out much smaller placeholders. They work just as well. So depending on how much you want to spend on ink, depending on how much, cutting and time you want to do, always multiple different options to accomplish the goal. And so there is the end. And you can see we've actually got a couple of pages left. So if they end up adding more Mudkip cards, we will be able to add them in the future. Now let's see if we can find all these guys that's a Swampert. Let's see if we can find these Mudkips. Here is, it's probably the reverse hollow. So you have the option of leaving the piece of paper in there, or you can pull it out. Just kind of personal choice. I'm going to leave them in there just in case he wants them, but if he wants to pull them out and throw them away later, that is fine too. Here is this one. Let's find the Mudkip Swimming in the Surf, which is this one, which I believe is actually the Fusion Strike one, the last new English Mudkip, and the Swampert, which is also the Fusion Strike Swampert, the regular hollow. Goes back here. So there you go. This is the start. It will be done in time for Easter, and this video will not come out until after Easter so that I don't ruin my own surprise. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope maybe this inspires you to do something for someone who is important to you. Thanks for being mundane with us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.